Welcome to Lorology. Sure, other courses might talk about geology or economics, but here we talk about equally important things. Things like big guns, big lads, and the power of positive thinking. I'm your host, Loricus the Lore Master, and with me as always are Seth and Brady. Say hi, boys.
Hi,
hey,
boys.
Well, today I've got a very special lesson planned for you guys. I understand you recently did a reaction video to Hell's Reach?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
It was,
We were reaching for it.
it was good.
Well, good, because today we'll be going over one of the factions featured prominently in the story of Hell's Reach. That's right, today's lesson will be about the Sons of Dorne themselves, the Black Templars. Oi! That's it! Hey! That chalkboard was expensive. Listen here, you blueberry git. I've been watching your little videos, and I've had enough of your mucking about. You've done the Yumis, the Pointies, the Stunties, even them Skelly gits. Now, you's gonna do a lesson on some proper orcology. But, you giving me lip, you crot? I'll crump your head in, swearing me chopper. Okay, fine. Well, boys, it seems that today we'll be doing a lecture on the orcs, with the help of my, academic expert here, Orcrates! Now, I'll be providing me expertise on this here subject as the department chair of orcology, but please direct all your questions to this here blue git with the glasses, as I've got better things to do with me time. Wait, department chair? Really? Oh my god. How do you have tenure? Academia is inherently political.
We get a guest lecturer today. Hell yeah.
Whatever keeps Loricus alive another day is what it sounds like.
I don't know that we have a choice, but I'm excited. I'm here for it. Let's buckle up.
Yes, please. Whatever keeps Loricus alive. Please put the chopper down. It's pronounced to chopper, and I will if you get on with the lesson. Okay. So let's begin with a brief history of the orcs. Our story begins, as oddly a lot of our stories do, with the Old Ones, a race of hyper-advanced psychic space frogs who could occasionally create sentient life from scratch. When the Old Ones were challenged by a race of technologically advanced aliens called the Necron Tier, they created species to serve as proxy soldiers. Among them were the graceful Eldari, the technopathic Jokero, and finally, the Krorks. Not much is known about the Krorks, but the Necron archivist, Trazen the Infinite, has a specimen in his museum. The specimen, preserved in perfect stasis, is about 40 feet tall and was apparently highly intelligent, capable of using psychic abilities. Of course, we is also required by the state to teach the theory that all orcs was made fully formed by the twin gods Gork and Mork. After the Old Ones mysteriously vanished, and the Necrons tucked in for the ultimate power nap, the Krorks slowly started to change over the next few million years. Whether this was evolution or degeneration, we're unsure, but the end result was that the orcs were now relatively smaller, standing at only about 10 to 12 feet in height. That's still bigger than your average space marine! Krorks were engineered by the Old Ones as weapons, and their descendants, the orcs, inherited this biological need for combat. In fact, orcs need a good fight like we need food or water. If they go too long without one, they can get sick and even die.
Huge!
That's a huge bitch. But that's crazy. They can die if they don't fight? Can you imagine being so wired for fighting that you would get sick and die if you didn't?
Now, on the subject of orc physiology, orcs are naturally hardier than humans. This is due to the fact that orcs aren't entirely flesh and blood like humans or Eldari. In fact, orcs seem to exhibit a mix of animal, plant, and even fungal biology, with dense musculature and a thick, fibrous skeleton that can easily heal from fractures or breaks. An orc's green color comes from their chlorophyll in their bodies, which they can use to turn sunlight into fuel, much like plants do. Their fungal elements ensure that their bodies can compensate any major organ damage, meaning orcs can keep going even after suffering major damage to their brains, hearts, or lungs. This means that no matter what, we orcs can just keep fighting! Another fun trick of their biology is that they can reproduce asexually through spores, like real-life fungi. Spores are most commonly shed in battle, so orc reproduction is often dependent on finding a good fight and getting stuck into it. Orcs don't really have a childhood as they emerge from the ground fully formed and ready to battle. And because orc knowledge is stored not just in their brains, but in the cells of their bodies, orcs can actually transfer knowledge from one generation to the next, meaning a newborn orc can emerge with all the knowledge they need on fighting, engineering, or even medicine. This transfer of information is known by its technical term, Orky-know-whats.
Yo, what? Orcs grow out of the ground from spores, fully formed, ready to fight, and with all the knowledge they need? Fuck. Also, they have to fight to, like,
yeah,
reproduce?
what I pulled from this is that they get sexually aroused from fighting.
Fighting, yeah. It's super...
It's more that their spores are in their blood and body and flesh and all that, and when they shed it through sweat or getting stabbed, that's where the spores land, and that's when it comes up. They don't spurt everywhere. It's not like an OnlyFans thing.
But that's more fun, Lorcus.
Yeah, you know, you
Our
have your
versions-
theories and
We have ours, and we're sticking to
We're
them.
scholars as well.
But one of the more interesting things about orcs is that each orc possesses a spark of psychic power. This passive psychic ability allows orcs to literally make their beliefs real. For example, an orc may fashion a weapon out of a random pile of scrap. If the orc decides that this is a gun, it will fire bullets like a gun, even if it has no functional ammo or firing mechanisms. Orcs can use this ability to radically change the abilities of weapons, armor, and vehicles simply by changing the paint job. Which brings us to me sword lesson, color theory for orcs. If you want to be proper orky, remember these simple rules and you do just fine, lads. Blue is the luckiest, that's just science. Yellow is for flashy boys who wants their bombs to blast bigger and badder. More yellow means more boom. The red ones go faster. You want to burn rubber and go real fast? Paint it red! Black's for real tough boys what can take bullets and bombs and shake 'em off like they was nothing. Purple's real sneaky beaky like. Ever seen a purple orc? No, that's 'cause they's all stealthy and they wear purple. And what? White's the colour of bone, see? So obviously, you paint things white if and you want 'em to be proper deadly. Right killy stuff. And since orcs is green, green is the best. Simple as.
That's a superpower.
Yeah.
Just believe it? Like, you can make a pile of metal just into a gun just by believing?
Well, I don't know what the blue kid's talking about, but when a boy gets it in his head to make a shooter, he just makes a shooter.
Simple as that, Seth. I don't know what you're not understanding here.
Fair enough,
So-
Ortiz.
Okay, so Orkertes, I have another question. You talk about the colors, you went through the color lessons. Have you ever thought of a rainbow?
Oi, what the song is that? Let's not give him any additional information about potential destructive capabilities, please.
Fair enough.
Yeah, let's, Lorcus, you have more to teach us?
What else can orcs do with their beliefs?
But this power of belief doesn't end there. While the effects of this ability can make individual orcs dangerous, get enough together, and this power only multiplies. When enough orcs get together, they can share their information in a sort of gestalt consciousness, making every individual orc smarter and stronger. Their technology becomes more deadly too. Orcs will often band together in tribes or war bands, under the command of an especially strong orc known as a war boss. But those individual groups may themselves fall under the command of an even stronger, more violent orc called a warlord. If enough orcs get together, that psychic call to violence gets stronger, building and building until you get a war! Can you say war? War! Very good, I knew you could! A war is basically hundreds or even thousands of orcish tribes united under the singular guidance of a warlord. This ocean of raging orcs will move from planet to planet, system to system, unified in a pursuit of violence. Think of it like an avalanche that builds energy the more momentum it gets. Orcs in this state will instinctively follow the commands of the biggest orc around, while the warlord enjoys a boost of power. Orcish psychers, called Weird Boys, can tap into the ambient psychic energy of so many gathered orcs to cast truly cataclysmic spells, even manifesting aspects of the orcish twin gods of brutality and cunning, Gork and Mork. One of the more fascinating things about orcs is that they seem to have a built-in resistance to the corruptive influences of chaos. See, orcs do have a presence in the warp, and that manifests as their twin gods, Gork and Mork, gods of brutality and cunning brutality. This presence may inoculate orcs against demonic corruption. See, demons prey on the fears, insecurities, and desires of their victims, but orcs are often too single-minded to be tempted with anything. Khorne can't lure them with strength because orcs are already strong. Tzeentch can't lure them in with knowledge because orcs already know all they need to know. Nurgle can't infect them with illness or despair because their bodies are naturally resistant to disease, and how can you be sad when there's a big galaxy full of things to fight? And not even Slaanesh can corrupt them because the only pleasure they need is, you guessed it, a good fight.
So I have kind of a fundamental question here. Gork and Mork.
Yes.
Let's just throw it out there. You said one of them's the god of brutality and cunning, and one's the god of cunning and brutality. They're the same thing, so what's the...
Oi! What's that you said? I'll kill you in the gabba, swear me
Forgive our ignorance,
Sorry.
Socrates. What Brady was just saying is we don't understand the difference and the subtle differences between Gork and Mork.
Okay, so let's explain. Blueberry boy, explain it. Okay. Well, Gork is the god of brutality, but also can be cunning in that brutality. Like, combat tactics. Charging in, knowing the weak spot to hit, knowing the best way to make your enemy hurt the best. Mork, on the other hand, is more about the cunning element. He's more about stealth, psychological warfare, messing with people's heads, or using advanced technology to inflict brutality in new ways.
Of course. See,
Yes.
fundamentally and unequivocally not the same, Brady.
The orcs are actually more likely to enjoy the chaotic madness of the warp. For example, legends speak of Tuska the Daemon Killer, who loved fighting the bloodthirsty demons of Khorne most of all. He loved fighting them so much, in fact, that he would go into the warp with his shields down in hope of baiting them to attack. This worked until the demons stopped coming to him on account of him just murdering them. So he did the logical thing and just went to them by flying his warband directly into the realm of Khorne himself. Tusk and his boys continue to fight the armies of demons to this day, 24/7, day to day, having the absolute time of their lives. Another orc was actually hurled back in time Samurai Jack style by the warp, but he turned the crisis into an opportunity by finding his past self and killing him so he could have 2 copies of his favorite gun. Since he didn't believe in the butterfly effect or the grandfather paradox, he was perfectly fine.
Well, you know what? Orcs are just misunderstood optimists.
I'm concerned that orcs are way too powerful here.
Now, orcs may seem like mindless brutes at first glance, but we can be right clever when we want to be. Exactly. Orcs have complex societies. While still centered around violence, they differ over what's worth fighting for. These different schools of thoughts, called clans, make the orcs a rich and diverse group. Now, we don't have time to get into each clan right now. What? But that's only because we'll be giving them their own episode. Oh, well, you better. But, in closing, orcs stand out as one of 40k's most unique factions. While the idea of orcs as marauders and barbarians is nothing new in the genre, 40k mixed English football hooligans with heavy metal and slapstick absurdist comedy to make a truly unique take on the concept. And that may be why orcs are so popular among fans. In a universe of grim, epic, over-the-top melodrama, the orcs might be the only ones who are having any fun. The Dour Imperium and the Lamenting Eldari are just downright miserable compared to a bunch of excitable, raucous greenskins who just want to fight, eat, and make noise. In tournaments or conventions, you'll often find eager players yelling, "The Red Ones go faster!" or "War!" at the top of their lungs, proving that the orcish enthusiasm can be downright infectious. Orcs are a thematic fixture in Games Workshop properties, appearing first in Warhammer Fantasy, then 40k, and more recently in Age of Sigmar. So, we can look forward to more orcish shenanigans for years to come. I didn't understand a word of that, but that was downright beautiful, it was.
It was.
It was something else.
I feel lucky that we had the chance to learn more about the orcish culture today.
Especially from you, Orcrates.
Well, thank you. I needed to get me anthropology credits in anyhow. But I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. But if you're gonna take anything from this lesson, let it be this. Green is best! Thank you once again, Seth and Brady. I've been Loricus the Lore Master. Class dismissed!